لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا حجة الله. حي على السلام. حي على السلام. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. حي على خير العمل. حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. نجدنا قبل نبينا محمد المصطفى المختار برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين يا الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي كان موجودا قبل حدوث الأشياء ويبقى بعد فناء الأشياء. تفرد بالأولية والقدم ووسم كل شيء ما عداه بالفناء والعدم. كما قال عز شأنه كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه وكل نفس ذائقة الموت. قال كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. سبحان من لا يخفى عليه اختلاف النيات ولا يعزب عنه معاصي العباد في الخلوات. سبحان الله الذي منه خلقة العباد وإليه المعاد. فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يرى ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يرى. نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو الملك الذي لا ينازع في ملكه ولا يضاد في حكمه. يعذب من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء ويرحم من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء. تعذيبه مسيين عدل وعفوه تفضل. ونشهد أن محمدا سيد المرسلين وخير المبشرين والمنذرين. خير المنذرين صلى الله عليه وآله الهداة المهديين. من ركب سفينته النجاة واهتدى ومن تخلف عنها ضل فغرق. وهوى أوصيكم بعد الله بالاعتصام بالتقوى فإنه حبل متين وعروة وثقى. وقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنهم كان قبل ذلك محسنين كانوا قليلا من الليل ما يهجعون وبالأسحار هم يستغفرون وفي أموالهم حق للسائل والمحروم. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I begin by advising myself and all of you to adopt the taqwa of Allah as is the best of provisions. The verse that I chose for today's Jumah Khutbah, or the verses, are from Surah Zariyat, ayat number 16, 17, 18, and 19, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining muttaqeen, that inna al-muttaqina fi jannatin wa na'im. The muttaqeen are those who are in the paradise and in the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then gives an explanation of who these muttaqeen are. He says, they had been righteous people before the day of judgment. They slept very little during the night and asked for forgiveness in the early morning. They assigned a share of their property for the needy and the destitute. With these attributes, Allah says, Innal muttaqina fi jannatin wa na'im. These are the muttaqeen who are in jannat, in paradise, and of course, they are enjoying the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today, the discussion that I wanted to hold was philanthropy in Islam and the concept of generosity at a larger scale. Just briefly to explain these ayat, there are certain groups of people who are deprived, but they don't beg. Now, there are a lot of people who might be in need, but they ask. But there are many people, because of their integrity, their honor, unless they're pushed to the limit, you don't really see them breaking that honor of theirs. So these group of people who are deprived, but they don't beg, we must take care of them. Quran said, give them, rather we have assigned a portion from your wealth for them. So it's not like, this is something which you should brag when you give. Rather, within your wealth, this portion has already been assigned. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioning that to be one of the attributes of muttaqeen, that these who are now in paradise, this is what they used to do. What did they do? One of the things that they did was fi amwalihim haqqun lis-sa'ili wal mahrum. In their wealth, there's what? There's haqq and right for those who are sa'il and those who are mahrum. So therefore, meaning that it is reserved right for them by Allah. Therefore, don't brag if you helped. Protect their integrity, their honor, and don't wait for them to ask. It is not necessary that a person must be poor, only then they're muttaqi. No. In this ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying muttaqi should be someone who's affluent, who's capable of helping others. Why? Innal muttaqina fi jannatin wa na'im. Muttaqin are those who had assigned a portion in their wealth for those who are in need. So taqwa does not mean the person has to be poor. Someone has to be, without any sort of fame or wealth or anything of that sort, which is we associate with world. No. They could have these worldly things, but at the same time, they could be what? Muttaqin. In fact, this combination is what is something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see. That not only that you are muttaqi for yourself, but you're able to also take care of those who are in your surrounding. So we see that the concept of zakat, concept of khums, charity in Islam, as zakat is an important act which is emphasized nearly 28 times in Quran, side by side with salat. So you read these ayat, yuqimuna as-salat wa yutuna az-zakat, aqimu as-salat wa atu az-zakat, aqamu as-salat wa atabu az-zakat. And if you left your windows open, it's coming down really hard. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So heads up if you have left your windows open. It was nice earlier, now it's raining. So in 28 places in the Quran, they have come side by side, right? You have concept of salat and you have the concept of zakat alongside with it. Now we all know the importance of salat. We all know the concept that it is considered to be one of the pillars of Islam. Now alongside with it, if something else is mentioned, that only elevates the importance of that thing. Kind of like when we discuss that ayat of Surah Bani Israel, ayat number 23, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ لَا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. When we say that it is the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to worship anyone except Him, and then what is next discussed? وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Be kind to your parents. So right away we see that the importance to being kind to the parents is elevated when it is mentioned alongside the tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Similar is the case over here, that salat and zakat are mentioned together. Zakat is one of the major religious duties in Islam. It is something which we take out on a yearly basis. It is something which all of us must take out at least once a year at the end of and the conclusion of the month of Ramadan. It is called Zakat Al-Fitra. We say it, briefly by just removing the word zakat from it. We say fitra or fitrana, or these words are used for it. But the actual thing is Zakat Al-Fitra. That's the name of that charity that has to be given. So therefore, we understand that it is one of the major religious duties in Islam. Literally, zakat means to purify. Comes from the word zakah, yazki, which means to purify. It refers to the purification of a believer's wealth and as well as soul. So not only by removing this portion from your wealth, what are you doing? You're purifying your wealth. So at the end of the month of Ramadan, conclusion of Ramadan, what do? You calculate all your family members and you give. The order of Islam is, Quran talks about, giving that portion of food, which is about 6 pounds of, popular food item in your area. Then we go ahead and calculate that in the monetary value of it, and then we give as money so that people can use it for other things as well. So with that said, you calculate how many family members you have, and you are very diligent in taking care of this obligation of yours. It refers to the purification of believers' wealth and soul. Wealth purification denotes the mobilization of assets for the purpose of financial growth and justified distribution, that it has to be given accordingly to those who are deserving around us. Purification of the soul implies freedom from hatred, freedom from jealousy, selfishness, uneasiness, and greed. So therefore, you have both things in balance. It's purifying your wealth so that it could be distributed amongst those who are poor and needy. It's purifying your soul at the same time. So it removes the greed and the jealousy and selfishness from you, because the only selfish person would be like, why should I go ahead and pay this? Only a selfish person would say, well, no, I don't believe in this. I'm not going to pay it. Like sometimes people make excuse when it comes to khums. That no, I don't believe in khums, so I'm not going to pay it. Just the same way, the Zakat Al-Fitra, we pay and emphasize a great deal upon it, and nobody really, tries to work around it, saying, oh, maybe I don't have to, maybe I. Same way, other areas where it is obligatory upon us to pay, those have to be taken care of in order to remove this hatred, jealousy, selfishness, and uneasiness and greed from our souls. Other Quranic connotations include the purification of sin as well. That when you give this zakat, Zakat Al-Fitra especially, you are what? Purifying yourself from the sin. The long 30 days of fasting comes to conclusion. So fasting and philanthropy, they go hand in hand. Saum or fasting in the Islamic tradition requires, of course, refraining from food and other things, food, drink, intimacy from dawn till dusk. It is, however, far more than mere refraining from these necessities of your daily life. And we all know, and we have addressed those things in detail. Honestly answering the question, what am I doing for others? Is there a way, a good measure of our spirit of generosity? How can we go ahead and gauge this? How can we go ahead and measure this? Two things, heart over wallet. Think about this. Heart over wallet. Charity enhances the giver rather than devaluing his wealth. Apparently, I took out some money and I gave in charity. I had 100 in my pocket, now maybe I have 50. So, well, what I see is that the giver is what? Devaluing his wealth. And that's how a person would see it. So, charity enhances the giver. While you remove this, it is enhancing you from within. Prophet of Islam, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, charity does not decrease wealth. Real generosity is not dependent so much on income as it is on the capacity of the heart, that how much your heart is into it. That's why you've heard the words, quantity and quality. That is not so much the quantity that Allah is looking from you, it's the quality of your actions. He did not say ayyukum ahsanu, he did not say ayyukum aktharu amala, he said ayyukum ahsanu amala. Which one of you have the best of the actions, not which one of you have the most of the actions. So there are many who give more, but not the heart to give. You know, there are many people who have means to give, but they don't have the heart to give. And there are many, the more they have, the more they'll give. So you find two different types of people. Thus, when giving of material wealth ensures that you do not give merely from the top of your wallet, but rather from the bottom of your heart. That is something what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking for. Greater living through benevolence can be achieved. Life should not really be about how much wealth we have been able to accumulate, rather how many people we've been able to serve with that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us. Because the greater our giving, the greater our living. Prophet again mentions in another tradition of his, surely Allah created humanity to be of benefit to creation. Remember, we are here to enrich the world, not just enrich ourselves. Deen teaches us what? وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. It's not about individualism, infirad, rather it is about congregation and bringing everyone together. That's why you can pray all your life individually and you won't know if any single of your salat has been accepted. But one mere salat which probably lacked many of the wajibat or many of the mustahabat in it, but you know for sure because you were standing in congregation, that salat is accepted in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We become enriched by enriching the lives of others. And if you ever forget that, we impoverish ourselves. So if you start thinking that way, that if I give, then I will become poor, that thought itself has made you poor. That thought itself has impoverished you. Therefore, we understand from the kalam of our fifth Imam, Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salatu wasalam, Imam said that Buni al-Islamu ala khams. The foundation of Islam is on 5 things. What are these 5 things? As-salat, was-zakat, was-sawm, wal-hajj, wal-walaya. وَلَمْ يُنَادَ بِشَيْءٍ كَمَا نُودِيَ بِالْوَلَايَةِ. That Islam is founded on 5 major things. What are these 5 things? You have the salat, you have the zakat, you have the sawm, you have the hajj, and you have the walayat, which refers to the walayat of Ahl Bayt alayhi salatu wassalam. Imam said, Lam yunada, and nothing is more important than this walayat, of course. But you look at the first 4 that are mentioned, amongst them, one of the foundations is being mentioned as this concept of zakat, which, let's put it in a different way, concept of philanthropy. If a person looks at the word zakat or khums and thinks that, you know, these are obligations or so backwards, look at it from the aspect of philanthropy and study those who are philanthropists around the world. What do? They give out of their wealth and they, you know, there might be some benefits for them in it, but nonetheless, this is the concept of philanthropy that has been mentioned in Islam. So with that said, I wanted to include that inshallah on Wednesday night, this coming May 4th, which will be the night of 23rd of Ramadan, which we will have inshallah the amal of Shab Qadr all night long. Of course, this program will be held virtually as it was last year as well. And every year, keeping up with the tradition, Masjid-e-Ali inshallah will be organizing their annual Ramadan fundraiser. And therefore, make sure that you come with your hearts and you come with your wallets, both of them wide open, and make sure that you take part in it. I'll continue to remind you from today up until the day it comes so that nobody forgets and says, oh, I did not remember that there was something going on. And even if you did forget, you will definitely be joining us for the amal as well, because I've seen, as far as the views are concerned online, every amal or amal that we've had in the past year, whenever there's Amal Ashura being done, whenever there's the Amal of Eid al-Fitr was being done, whether the Amal of Shab Qadr were done, the views were, you know, quadrupled over the regular, our viewers. So with that said, I'm sure nobody really forgets these big nights. You won't forget this big night as well. So therefore, do tune in. Program will start at 9:30. It will be virtually conducted. Please open your hearts and your wallets for various projects that, of course, you can see and are undergoing. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Couple of things that I've remained, inshallah, I'll conclude. Spirituality and social consciousness. How Islam teaches us that, especially during this month of Ramadan. Fasting in Islam is a mode of enhancing self-discipline. If you haven't realized it, you have disciplined yourself in the past 16 days, 17 days. Today is the 17th of Ramadan. You've disciplined yourself. How have you disciplined yourself? Simple. You have put a timetable around your daily routine. The routine that you used to go about, you've changed it. You've now fit yourself to fit the routine that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked you to do so. You eat according to the routine set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You stop eating according to the routine set by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you're more careful when it comes to your salat and its timings, that you make sure that you perform your salat on time, especially the Maghriban, and especially that salat which unfortunately many of us end up missing anyway, which is Salatul Fajr. So now you're so punctual when it comes to that Salatul Fajr. You're so punctual when it comes to your Salatul Maghriban. You're so punctual when it comes to the middle Salat as well. That was never under question anyway. But now you have made and put yourself in this discipline that you have adopted. I'm sure nobody can deny that. It's an opportunity for regulating attitude and conduct, for developing a better self that focuses on the larger purpose of existence. So this 1 month gives you that opportunity to work towards the rest of your months of the life, the rest of the months of the calendar year. The month of Ramadan is that such opportunity for spiritual rejuvenation and increased philanthropy. So not only that you're physically and spiritually enhancing yourself, but by removing this Zakat Al-Fitra towards the end and your continuous giving throughout the month of Ramadan, you go ahead and perform that philanthropy as well, which the Quran considers the pinnacle of human development. While fasting, we are far more aware of the hunger of the poor and the suffering and the oppressed, those who are around us, or maybe in the various parts of the world, and therefore instructed to be more generous, especially during this month. As a matter of fact, the feast of Eid al-Fitr, marking the end of fast of the month of Ramadan, cannot be celebrated unless those affording ones have distributed and dispersed Zakat al-Fitra that we had alluded to earlier. That's natural charity or sincere bounteousness to the impoverished. This promotes attentiveness to social responsibility that we have, people that are around us, interest in the welfare of the society, and inspires a continued spirit of generosity. Now, someone might say, why should I wait until the end of the month of Ramadan to give this Zakat al-Fitra? There are people who are in need right now. You can do that as well. You can, we know it's about $12 that we've been calculating Fitra for the past couple of years now. So the more the better, but at least minimum is $12, inshallah. You can take out that amount for every child person in your family right now, but not with the intention of fitra. Right now, you can take it out with the intention of qarz, and you can loan it to whomever you want to help. And then come the night of Eid al-Fitr, on that night, you will make the intention that qarz that I had given, I have changed the intention from qarz to fitra. Therefore, you're not demanding that money back from that person, and you can actually go ahead and help them out right now as well if you wanted to. So this is a loop around it, that if you wanted to do so. So there are many dimensions of generosity. Whatever one can do to enhance the situation of others is considered charity and an act of generosity. Prophet said there is a charity due in every part of the body every day. He went on to say that to bring justice between people is charity. To help a person with transport, helping with baggage is charity. A kind word is charity. Every step towards prayer that you were coming just now is considered to be charity. Removing harmful things from the way of mu'mineen is also considered to be charity. Giving water to the thirsty is charity. A person's true wealth lies in the good that they accrue for the hereafter through the good deeds that they perform in this world. Therefore, there's so many ample amount of opportunities that lie ahead of us that we can take advantage of, especially during this blessed month of Ramadan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the tawfiq and ability to be more practice philanthropy during this month and become that individual where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see that we have stipulated a haqq for the deprived in your wealth, as the ayat of Surah Zariyat we're talking about. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the reappearance of our weighted Imam and make us amongst the helpers and the soldiers of Imam. In Asl Hadith, وأبلغ الموعظة كتاب الله أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم سبحان من سبقت رحمته غضبه وبسط اليدين بالرحمة سبحان من لم يكلف نفسا إلا دون وسعها وعفى عن السيئات ولم يجاز بها سبحان من لا يزداد على معاصي العباد إلا كرما وجودا ولا كثرة الذنوب إلا عفوا وصفحا نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو اللطيف على العباد بجوده والأدباد المظلمين بحلمه ونشهد أن محمدا سيده نبيه وحبيبه سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين بعثه رحمة للعالمين. لقد أمركم الله في محكم كتابه بالصلاة على نبيه وحبيبه فقال تعليما لكم وتشريفا للصفي إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وعلى إمام المسلمين وقائد الغر المحجلين أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله عليه وعلى سيدة نساء العالمين وبذرة خاتم النبيين سيدتنا فاطمة بنت رسول الله صلوات الله عليها وعلى الحسن المجتبى وعلى الحسين الشهيد بكربلاء وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي عليهم الصلاة والسلام. اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب الزمان ما هي آثار البدع والطغيان هادم أبنية الشرك والنفاق حاسد فروع البغي والشقاق صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آبائه الكرام اتصلت ليالي والأيام. اللهم عجل فرجا وسهل مخرجا واكحل ناظرنا بنظرة منا إليه واجعلنا من المستشهدين بين يديه وتفضل على أمرائنا المؤمنين بمزيد التوفيقات وازدياد الإقبال وعلو الدرجات. اللهم افعل بنا ما أنت أهله ولا تفعل بنا ما نحن أهله بجاه محمد وآله المعصومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين. اللهم اجعلنا ممن يذكر فتنفعه الذكر إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Please silence your phone. Thank you. Salatul Jumah.
الله أكبر.
Allahu Akbar.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم الصراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائمة قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار بجاه محمد وآله الأطهار. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. ربنا افرغ علينا الصبر وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين بجاه محمد وآله الطاهرين. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف. الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
اللهم صل على محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
تسبيح فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. All together. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
So before we proceed to the Tamad Asr, quickly just remember those people who are the sponsors for tonight. Remember their Mahumeen as well as remember your own Mahumeen who are no longer with us, those who were with us last year, plus the community members. Please recite Surah Al-Fatiha. Let's recite this ayat from Surah Al together 5 times for all of those people who are in need of dua, suffering, struggling, going through a difficult time, physically, financially, spiritually. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring them out of their difficulties. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amma yujibul mustarra أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء 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 ويجعلكم خلفاء الأرض إله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. The upcoming programs, inshallah, in-person programs will continue for the month of Ramadan. Tonight being the 17th of Ramadan, inshallah, we'll have our regular program, and tomorrow, because our programs are all done prior to Maghrib, 18th, we will not have the Shabbat Zakat Majlis because the program is being done prior to Maghrib. So instead of that, there'll be Majlis of Day of Zakat, which will inshallah be on Sunday, which will be 19th of Ramadan. So we'll have the series of 3 majalis commemorating the shahadat of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. May 2nd, Sunday, May 3rd, Monday, and May 4th, Tuesday. So these 3 days, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, inshallah, will be having these majalis. Again, they will be all done in person, slightly increased in the capacity. So you have to still register in order to take part. But of course, the programs will be streamed live online as well. Also, Saturday night at 9:30, inshallah, we'll have the virtual Amal. So when you get home after taking part in the program here, inshallah, we'll have the Amal, the short Amal of the Shab al-Qadr. And then similarly, not on Sunday, but on Monday night at 9:30, we will have the Amal of Shab al-Qadr. And then not on Tuesday, but Wednesday night, inshallah, we will be celebrating the grand Shab al-Qadr, which will be, of course, the night of 23rd of Ramadan. And inshallah, on that night, we will have the all-night long program of the Amal, which of course, again, will be all virtual. I just announced it that on that day, we will also be holding our annual fundraiser. So inshallah, you will take part in that as well. So these are the programs that are coming up. And then the next week, Jumah, most likely, of course, will be Jumah Khutbah. So again, take part in that as well. Sallallahu Muhammad wa alayhi Muhammad. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah. Ashhadu anna Aliyan hujjatullah. Hayya ala-s-salati, hayya ala-s-salati, hayya ala-al-falah, hayya ala-al-falah. حي على خير العمل، حي على خير العمل، قد قامت الصلاة، قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر. سبحان الله، سبحان الله، سبحان الله، سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله، سبحان الله، سبحان الله، سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله، سبحان الله، سبحان الله، سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده.
الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا افرغ علينا الصبر وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين بجاه محمد وآله الطاهرين. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. تسبيح فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا علي يا عظيم يا غفور يا رحيم. أنت رب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر نظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور. وهو الشهر الذي فرس صيامه عليك. وهو شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من ألف شهر. فيا المن ولا يمن عليك. من علي بفكاك رقبتي من النار. في من تمن علي وادخلني الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Assalamualaikum Rasulullah, Assalamualaikum Nabi Allah, Assalamualaikum Rasulullah, Assalamualaikum Rasulullah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Assalamualaikum Abdullah, Assalamualaikum Rasulullah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, وجعلنا من أولئك الصالحين ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على
تكبير.
الله أكبر.
Hari Hendri.